Lights, camera, action. We need action on the Kawasaki. I confess, I have been neglecting this project and spending far too much time on other things. I have to be honest, I got frustrated because of my own neglect and complete mess up of the electrics, and just put it under a cover and kind of forgot about it. As you may have noticed, we have a little bit more space to work in. Yes, I've sold the Honda CB750, obviously not that one, the other one. And I need to focus on this, get this up and running, because I was really excited about this bike. I've always wanted a KZ650. It's a beautiful bike, and I don't think I've ruined it too much. That said, I'm looking at this light again, wondering whether I like it or not. I'm not sure that I do now. Think we may go for something more conventional. So, thanks to the previous purchase of numerous headlight kits, we got two choices. We can go with the, well, either one of those. I'm not sure yet. Depends what we get, I guess. Which leaves that to mount our speedo, so that's that sorted. I guess we could keep those as high beams. I don't know, or we can just get rid of them. One of the two. It just leaves wiring it all up and working out whether this fuse box is actually going to work or not. And of course the seat. I suppose we'll need to connect that to the fuel tank at some point. Yes, and while we're going conventional on the lights, I'm thinking of going conventional on the seat too. Because quite honestly, it was getting too complicated trying to tuck things under the front of the tank and back of the tank and whatever. Anyway, so here's what I'm thinking. We have conventional hinges still in place for the seat. So what we need is some kind of 90-degree job there. Yeah, except a little bit higher maybe. Like that. And obviously a little bit longer. Like that. Well, not that long, obviously. But you get the idea, right? That fits onto there. The seat then hinges, and then we build a platform up there that the actual seat screws to, including the tailpiece. And then what? I think that's it. Problem solved. What's that even going to look like? Well, hopefully a little bit better than that, obviously. But it's a starting point, and we all have to start somewhere. And that looks like that in relation to the tailpiece. And we can't move that any further forward in relation to the frame, because that's the maximum kind of width at the back there that marries up with that kind of section. Now, obviously it wouldn't need to cover the entire rear section, just enough to mount the seat on, really, which is those 2 points there that I've marked up. We'll bring it back further a little bit, and then I think obviously it's going to sit on the battery cradle mounts. We might have to find some flatheads, countersunk boys, to mount that in with, but that's easy enough. So I'm thinking something a little bit more like that just comes to that back hinge. That's all we need, I think. Unfortunately, this cardboard is as thicker than any of the metal I've got, so actually it's kind of more robust. We could do it out of hardboard, but I don't think so. So I thought, instead of devising my own hinges, why don't I just buy some proper ones? Obviously I sold them with the seat. That was stupid, wasn't it? Well, there's a good reason not to. $69.99 for one. Yes. Bugger that for a game of soldiers. But wait. Oh no, that's the tailpiece. But wait. There we go. Perfect. $15. That's more like it. Then, of course, we'll need some pins, won't we? Yeah. Now, let me think. Shall I have two brand new ones for $9.75, genuine Kawasaki, or shall I have a crappy old one, just the one, for $25? Let me think about that. Meanwhile, back at the front end, going back to conventional means switching everything around. So these are currently pointing down. They're going to need to point up, because what I'm going to have to do is take this off, put the inside one on the outside and kick it out to get it out of the way of this. Yeah, a lot of bloody work. Well, yes, I've done it again. And by that I mean overthought the situation, gone for the wrong solution, and it was staring me in the face all the time, I think. For some reason, and it was probably a good one at the time, we were using these spacers to raise up the front of the seat, which then created that whole kind of ripple effect. And so I've taken them out. And I don't see the problem with that, except this is a bit tight. Yeah, it's a bit tight, but I've been thinking about remodeling this anyway. Well, it just looks a bit odd. Meanwhile, at the front end, it turns out that I might get away without swapping all those brake lines over. There they are, flipped the right way up to accommodate whatever headlight we choose. So we'll see. Anyway, yeah, nice colour, eh? And bringing up the rear, no, that's not the yellow stripe. Well, it is, obviously, but it's the line that I'm thinking to shave that tailpiece down to. Meanwhile, on the flip side, we have a sticky petcock. And that's never a good idea, is it? Yes, I've tried all that stuff, doesn't make any difference. Nah, never mind Photoshop. Oh, I did it with a Sharpie. Yeah, so what I did was take the side panel off and then kind of put it up, draw that bottom curve, and then tail it off to the point I want. I think that's what I want to do. I think that'll look good. I know, what's he doing? Drawing on that beautiful paint job with an indelible marker. It's alright. Thanks to our friends at Custom Cans or whatever they are, we got plenty of paint in here somewhere. There it is. Yeah. Alrighty, this is going to be a very tedious process, so I will not be filming it. I'm going to be sanding this down, or cutting it and then sanding it and then fitting it and then cutting it and then doing the same to the other side, which is not the same. Yeah, it's got that indent for some reason. Anyway, so it's going to be tedious. Bear with me. No, I'm not sitting down on the job. I'm on the sitting down job. So I've tied it up in the back end somewhat. And no, it's not duct tape. It's fibre fix tape. Anyway, it's slightly tidier than dear Dora managed. As we've established with our new lower, better tailpiece situation, it tucks under the tank nicely. It doesn't bend up or anything else. And what I've come up with is that, yes, a cross member instead of washers. Yep. So that'll go there, and then we'll have some Velcro on the top, which will affix to the derriere of the underside, even of the seat, and maybe a little bit more Velcro here. And I think that will just about do the job. Then we can get on with the electrics. Next up, drill some holes in it, which requires the removal of the seat for the umpteenth time, and removal of the rear light because we've got to modify the tail. Right, that's that removed, and backlight removed, and ready to go. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I kind of don't want to sand all that off. That would be very tedious. So I think I want to cut at least to this bottom line with something. Jigsaw, probably. But how the hell do I kind of clamp that into position so I can cut? I don't know. Right, time to drill some holes. So it's inches of rubbish, aren't they? 7 1/4 and a bit, and a little bit. Roughly translated, it is about that. Job done. Do not attempt this at home with the supervision of a responsible adult, because they will not allow you to do this. No turning back now. Not bad for a first rough cut. Well, I thought I'd have to break out the belt sander to finish this off, but actually I'm kind of pleased with that as it is. So just a little bit of sanding, and then we'll have to do the other side, obviously. All right, so here's the other side, and for some reason this isn't clipping in fully, and it's not where we've mounted the regulator doofer. I can't work out what it is, so I have to work that out later. But anyway, we've got kind of the line, so we need to do the same over here. That looks about right. So I've cut the other side and ready to kind of sand that down and get that ready. Managed to work out it was the wires from the rectifier that were stopping this from clipping in nicely. So while I've been doing this, contrary to it being a real pain in the ass, I left the bolts in place so I didn't lose them, and this just clips in nicely. So I'm wondering if that's the answer to everything. Yeah, I think I want to get some slightly bigger headed, if at all possible, or just put a washer underneath or something, and that'll just hold everything in place. So this won't go over the top like I intended, but it can sit there and we can still put some Velcro on for the seat itself. I think that might work. Anyway, what does this look like? Not bad. I think it needs a little bit more off there, doesn't it? Yeah, and then a little bit more off that corner. Yes, redneck engineering. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's that done. Yeah, and I like my seat fix idea, which I think means we can return to our initial idea of putting a bolt in the back, or there, or both, and that'll fix it to the seat pan, the tailpiece itself. And then we just slot the whole thing under there, hook those in, and job's a good one. We don't need no stinking Velcro. Next up, we got to repaint those bits, obviously, which is going to involve blending it in, but seeing it's a million colours of green already, shouldn't be a problem. Primed. Only problem is, it's a little bit tight, isn't it, in terms of fading stuff in, and yeah. And there's another problem. That's the paint that we got left from our friends at Custom Cans. Now, if you remember, and I barely do, so I can't blame you if you don't, Candy Emerald was the very green, which wasn't the actual colour. Teal is what we ordered, which wasn't the actual colour. Ocean Green was their first suggestion as to what that colour was, which was actually correct for 5 points. So that probably ain't going to work. Really didn't want to respray the whole thing, but I think we're probably going to have to. Let's see how it goes. Sanded and silvered. Well, it's not a bad colour for a Kawasaki, I have to say, but it's certainly nothing like that, is it? No. We'd only ever tried laying the emerald over the green to try and match everything up. So, I don't know. Time to buy some paint. A can of Ocean Green. And we'll either do the whole thing again or just blend it in, see what happens. Well, Candy Ocean paint has arrived, and that's encouraging. Meanwhile, life on the painting front is equally tedious. The new Candy Ocean didn't quite match, as you would expect, because I think I painted that with the emerald as well, didn't I? I can't remember. Anyway, so we got a coat of emerald on there. It's still not quite matching. Meanwhile, that's that done. And the other side. Lovely. Kind of matches. Now all we need to do is get it fired up, and that involves the electrics, which I've still been putting off. So look forward to that next time. I mean, starting it up, not the electrics. That'll be tedious. Although obviously if I do make any pertinent discoveries that I think will be useful to anyone out there, I will include them. As always, thanks for watching. Do tune in again next time to hopefully hear this beast fire up. And in order to do that, if you haven't already, subscribe down here somewhere. And of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.